And I thought it was a very interesting matchup that really came down to like, could Casper create enough depth on the forehand cross court to keep Jack from really leaning in on it? And it was like, it was so fun to watch, like them
Yep.
that little battle within the battle.
Well, I will add to that and take a brief trip to Coach's Corner. Any right-hander that's playing a lefty should watch Casper Ruud's match against Jack Draper because he not only attacked the backhand, found ways to go back behind him with the backhand, but he stung him enough times down the line to keep him honest to open up the backhand the next time. And I felt like the occasional dropper, the hook forehand on the righty, which is almost always a lefty pattern, the hook forehand out wide that had Jack slicing and moving the ball back to his forehand. He went one more back to the backhand, and Jack's got a decent backhand. Don't get me wrong, very
Jack's got a
solid.
fantastic
So,
backhand.
in reading one and watching one of the YouTube broadcasts, Jack's right-handed, of course.
He's
So
right-handed,
there,
yeah.
one more time, another Rafa situation where you realize these guys are lefties by choice. Still something I got to get my head around. But bottom line, the guy's backhand is all day. So, but not as big as the forehand. And unfortunately for him today on clay, that forehand bite is a little bit off. The serve bite's a little bit off because on clay, and Casper is a phenomenal returner. So I felt what he did today was he played textbook how you beat a lefty tennis. I don't know if he'd be able to do it on hard court, but he did it today on the clay. He
Right.
played up in the court. He got the balls wider, sometimes even shorter than normal, and pulled them out wide. He stung him when he needed to, and bottom line, he broke him when he needed to, which is no small feat. And I say hats off to Casper Ruud for adding his first 1,000 Master Series
Yeah,
title.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's almost like I'll take the other side of that one because, I am, you know this, maybe the listeners do know this as well, but like I am left-handed and I have taught lefties, and it's one of my favorite things to do is teach other
Right.
left-handed players because there are some things that lefties are allowed to get away with
Right.
just because of the matchup between what happens on the
Right.
ad axis of the court, right?
Sure.
And again, kind of maybe big general terms. It's like you can only do so much with a really good backhand, right? Having a really good backhand doesn't you can it can be a really really good shield. It's very hard to make a backhand a weapon just because of physics, right? You can't really hook a backhand and open up the
Right.
court.
Right.
So I'll
Can't
say
can't
for
go buggy left
exactly,
backhand. Can't
exactly,
go open stance rip buggy. Serena was the
exactly,
closest thing to it
yeah, yeah. So
with
like
her
with the
open
lefties,
stance
like
sling.
with the lefties, and I had one girl that I used to teach that we would do this drill over and over and over. It's like the lefty when you get into that ad court rally where you want to be cross court lefty hook to a traditionally a righty's backhand,
Yep.
right? Eventually, you're going to get a ball in the middle of the court, right? That's ideal, right? Are you aware enough and fast enough to come into the middle of that court, take that backhand, lean on it, and rip it cross court? And then camp out in the middle of the court, slightly over to the deuce court, and then go maybe inside out, inside in, work that pattern from there, right? So that's the
Yep.
that's the bread and butter for a
Bread and butter.
lefty.
Yep.
Not everyone has the backhand to do it.
Correct.
Jack is interesting in that he has the backhand to do it. He rips the piss out of that middle court
Yep.
backhand and does it with conviction. But Jack's forehand wasn't always always tough enough to create that shot
Right.
for him.
Or
Not
big
to
enough.
mention big enough, right? Yeah, and
Right.
not to mention his
Yeah.
foot speed was he would get a little non-committal, if we will, stepping up to that ball. So
Right.
the fitness wasn't necessarily there, but fitness is there. Belief in the forehand is there, and so I've seen him do it repeatedly, and it's like, oh, he's got it, he's got it, and so that's why I was saying the matchup between Casper being able to get enough depth on that forehand to not let Jack step in because Jack takes that short backswing
Right.
and he plants that left leg and will just tee off on that
Yep.
backhand. But he can't do it if you're getting that back and that forehand lots of spin within like let's say 24, 18 inches of the baseline.
100%.
And you started to see Casper pick up the RPM, pick up the
Pick up the
depth,
RPMs
and not
and
let Jack step in.
I will add to it. I saw several points where he actually went wide first,
Right. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
and not deep first. So that stretched Jack. And then when he went back for the ball, then he went behind him deep. Not necessary. And that while Jack's looking to kind of cover forehand, now he's got to take a really kind of a shovel backhand at the body. And now, unfortunately for him, Casper Ruud has the down the line rip or the back or the hook angle back. And I just say it was a tactical matchup. It was very surgical. I was happy to see Casper Ruud come through this match. Elated to see Jack Draper, who's going to have a lot more years at this at tennis now that he's proven himself to be a very sure-footed clay court player.